This is the Stelvio, and it's one of Alfa Romeo's latest answers to the crossover SUV boom. But no, this isn't it in the setting of some mystic place in Europe where Alfas have been selling on the regular since the dawn of time.
But it's here in good old America after being absent from our market for over 20 years. And you see, that's a bit of a big deal. The almighty Jeremy Clarkson once said, "You aren't a true petrolhead until you've owned an Alfa Romeo." Now that's a pretty bold claim indeed, but you see, Alfa hasn't sold a new car here since 1995 because of tightening US safety and emissions regulations or something, making it too expensive for them to redesign the cars or whatever. These days, Alfa Romeo is owned by Fiat, who also in turn owns Chrysler, and that's given them an opportunity to reintroduce themselves into the US market. And boy, have things changed. Oh, yes they have.
The last time Alfa sold a car in the US was in the form of a rather low-key sedan, and it was called the 164, and this is what it was like.
Alfa 164 is at the peak of the Alfa Romeo range. So how does it compare with its more direct competitors? Let's take the best of them for comparison. The BMW 530i, the Mercedes 300e, the 16-valve Saab 9000 and the Volvo 760 intercooler.
Despite styling by Pininfarina, the 164 is actually quite boring, sharing the same front-wheel drive platform as the Saab 9000. And to make matters worse, Alfa Romeo wasn't exactly very good at the build quality or the reliability thing. So that just kinda left American buyers with a bit of a sour taste. But again, that was over 20 years ago, and Americans once again have expressed interest in Italian mainstream automobiles. But the hype generated around this plan leaves for some pretty big shoes to fill. And upon first impressions, the Stelvio smashes them. I'm not quite big on crossover SUV designs since, well, I think they all look the same. But the Stelvio is by far one of the best looking of them all. It definitely has some curbside swagger for sure. So, it is quite nice to look at. But how does the rest of it fare?
Things off, I gotta clear some elephants out of the room because, you know, this is an Alfa Romeo, it's Italian, and they're known for some quirks. So, for instance, the gas tank is the size of a teacup, the infotainment system is as organized as a Roman traffic jam, and the 12-volt socket is right next to the passenger cup holder. So when either one are in use, it renders the other completely useless. But I don't care!
The reason why I don't care is because this isn't just any ordinary Stelvio for soccer moms and dads. This is the High Performance Quadrifoglio edition, and that name should already give you a hint as to what exactly we're dealing with here.
Quite simply, the Stelvio Quadrifoglio is Alfa Romeo's other halo car, the Giulia Quadrifoglio, except on stilts, and with all-wheel drive. Under the hood is the same 2.9-liter twin-turbocharged Ferrari-developed V6 as the Giulia Quadrifoglio, as is the same 505 horsepower and the same 8-speed automatic gearbox. And that means that this basically has more power than a BMW M3. Like all other performance icons of its brethren these days, the Stelvio comes with Alfa's latest DNA selector, And that's basically their version of being able to choose various driving modes according to conditions and your hearts and desires. It all starts with A, which Alfa calls all-weather mode, and I simply call it arthritic mode because it just softens up and numbs everything and turns the trash control nannies on at full alert. That's for things like driving in the snow and the rain and whatnot. Then you have N, which stands for natural mode, as Alfa calls it. I simply call it normal mode. And then you have D, which stands for dynamic mode, and that brightens up the response of the engine and the transmission while loosening the traction nannies a bit, just so you can have some tail-happy fun without being overzealous. And then you have a mode called race. And that should be pretty self-explanatory.
Setting the mode to race immediately disables the stability control, sets the throttle and transmission sensitivity to the max, and makes the Stelvio so fast that it set the record for the fastest SUV to lap the Nürburgring Nordschleife in just 7 minutes and 51 seconds. And so yes, that of course means it can handle really well.
This all sounds very awesome and cool, but you're probably sitting there thinking, all this performance must come at a cost. And, well, yeah, it does, as the Stelvio Quadrifoglio starts just north of $80,000. But not so fast on the comfort and the luxury front.
Firstly, there's space for yourself and 4 other people and some other things. And there's a boot for stuff too. And it has all-wheel drive, so you can use it all year round. With the right tires, of course. The seats might be a bit aggressive, especially if you're on the wide side like me, but they're wrapped in an Italian leather that's softer than a baby's bottom. And unlike Alfa Romeos of the past, it won't disintegrate into a pile of rust the second it gets wet. So as a car, it works.
When you're not trying to fulfill your Nürburgring lap time record fantasies, the Stelvio actually settles down to be a normal crossover. Now, it might not be the most technologically advanced, the most luxurious, and certainly not the most comfortable, especially if you have a back made of fragile glass. But as I've been driving around the New York, New Jersey area on the crater fields that we call roads, the Stelvio's been actually just fine. But most of all, it's an Alfa Romeo. It's the kind of car that immediately gives off the sense that you have a very fine taste in automobiles. It's the kind of car that proves that you're not just a lover of the automobile, but you're a connoisseur. And most of all, you buy one of these because you know exactly what you're getting. You're getting one of the fastest and finest SUVs to ever grace the planet. And for that, I simply adore it.